devastating. I mean, as you can imagine, it's hard to even express the victimization and how traumatized we all are due to this unnecessary thing that happened to us.
How many FBI agents with guns would you estimate showed up at your house?
It had to have been 20, 25, 30. I mean, we have a large property. My entire front yard, you could barely see it. It was covered with at least 15 big trucks and cars.
How are your children doing? I have to ask.
It's hard to tell. The older ones, we can talk, we can cry. We've had some counseling. We have more counseling to do. And the little ones, they're scared. They're scared. There's a lot of crying.
So as you saw in this video clip, I do believe that we're living in a specific time because there are a lot of people in 2023 who will have no problem whatsoever making fun of religious people, preventing them from attending churches and to just live their lives, right? We've seen, for example, with the LA Dodgers story a few days ago, in fact, where this group of the nuns of perpetual, I can't even remember their names exactly, but they were quite happy to make fun of Catholic nuns, and that is not a problem. But during COVID, there were a lot of people who were unable to attend work or even go to the gym, and a lot of other activities that were prohibited, especially in community or cities that are supposed to be very liberal. So the video that I'm going to react to basically here involve Senator Josh Hawley, as I was saying, and one of the judicial nominee from the Biden administration, and he's going to ask her question on her record, and especially her defending the mayor of Washington D.C. On this issue, and I would like to react to it. So without further ado, I will cue it up and we will talk about it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations to all the nominees. Judge Ali Khan, I think the last time you and I visited, it was before the Homeland Security Committee. And I asked you a number of questions there, you, including some for the record, you answered those, which I appreciated. One question that I ask you, and I ask every nominee actually on that committee and this one, is whether or not the nominee has ever litigated against a religious liberty claim. Usually the answer to that's no. In your case, you answered yes, and you listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cases over a period of years, actually, in which you have litigated against individuals or churches' religious liberty claims. So let's just talk about a few of those, if we could. Let's start with some of your work during COVID. Case you list here, Capitol Hill Baptist Church versus Bowser. Do you remember that case?
Yes, Senator.
You remember working on that case?
Yes, Senator.
This was a case involving the district's lockdown policies that shut down churches in the district. Is that correct?
It concerned litigation over provision of the lockdown policies. The policies restricted all types of activity in the district.
All types of activity in the district?
Yes, Senator.
Did it restrict mass protests in the district?
Well, it restricted activities that one normally expected, including work, going to stores. It also did include these provisions that were challenged concerning churches.
So it exempted unusual or unlikely activities that's in the statute, that's in the ordinance?
When the mayor was enacting these orders at the outset of the pandemic, I think she was trying to be as comprehensive as she could, and the order did restrict a number of daily activities of district residents.
But it exempted mass protests?
I don't believe it said anything one way or
Can
another.
you point me to the text where it exempted mass protests?
I don't believe it said anything one way or another.
Of course it did, because it didn't accept mass protests. Right. You know that.
I think it was silent on the issue because I don't believe it's contemplated by the mayor's office.
Ah, so you think that mass protests should be in a different category than religious observances? Is that your position?
I think if there were protests on the book, then the mayor might have thought about that when she was enacting the COVID-19
And you see it right there. That is a complete lie, and she knows that. There is no way the city of Washington D.C. will actually allow during COVID, they would allow churches to open their doors, but instead protesting with thousands of people shoulder to shoulder, that's okay, right? And I think Senator Hawley there will do a really good job to push her, and you will see it's really good.
restrictions, but I think she was trying to protect public
So
health.
you think it's fine to say to religious people that they are prohibited from gathering outside, wearing a mask, socially distanced. They can't do it. But if you want to come and protest, defund the police, if you want to support that, that's fine. You can gather in mass, person to person, close up, thousands of people. That's okay. That discrimination's okay. That's your position.
Senator, that is not my position.
It was your position. It's what you argued.
I did not write these orders. What I
You
said,
defended it in court, and
My-
you just articulated to me what I take to be your position.
what I was doing in the Capitol Hill Baptist Church was defending the mayor, my client, against a constitutional challenge to one aspect of the COVID-19 restrictions. We understood that strict scrutiny applies.
How did that case go for you?
We lost that case.
Why?
It was found that the restrictions did not meet the standard of strict scrutiny,
Meaning they were unconstitutional.
meaning that they did not survive strict scrutiny. And it's a matter of public record that the District of Columbia did not appeal that decision.
Why? Why were they struck down?
Excuse me, Senator?
Why were the restrictions that you defended struck down as discriminatory? Why were they?
Because they did not satisfy.
Why didn't they?
The court concluded.
See, this is the problem that I have, right? She knows the answer, and she knows exactly why this case was challenged in court and why they lost. But she will not, and I repeat, will not admit to the reality, right? Well, I guess eventually, of course, she does say why the case was rejected in court. But I find it just amazing how they cannot provide any legal basis. And you will see it later, she can't cite any reason why churches have to be closed, but then it's okay to protest if really the worry was about transmission of the disease. But then why is it that in one case it's okay and in another there is an issue? And there was also a lot of things that we even discovered here in France before, where in the same shopping center you will have one section that's open and another section that is closed, right? And everywhere in the world there was the same issue. So I think it is right to ask now, with the benefit of hindsight, to ask whether those policies were right and whether they made any sense at the time. And you will discover that she cannot actually even provide a single piece of evidence, not a study, not a peer review article, nothing. So which suggests or tells you everything that you need to know, that the decision was purely based on discrimination, but they obviously will not accept that it was based on discrimination.
That there were restrictions that were not neutral of general applicability.
Yeah. That's legalese. Why didn't they? Why didn't they on the facts? You know the facts. You were a good lawyer. Why'd you lose?
We lost because applying the strict scrutiny test, the court concluded that the restrictions were not narrowly tailored particular
Because?
a compelling governmental interest.
Because?
Oh boy, her face. Her face is so interesting. Ah, she seems to be stuck. You see, this is what happens, okay? And it's terrible. And she knows that she has lost the argument. There is no legal basis because she knows that she attacked protection that are afforded to people under the Constitution, and yet she's just silent.
Oh, come on, Judge. Don't make me do this. Do you want me to go through it for you? You lost because Mayor Bowser was going to mass protests herself personally with thousands of people celebrating him. By the way, which is fine. We have First Amendment in the United States. I want to be clear. That is totally fine. You want to protest? Go for it. I think that's totally fine. That wasn't the problem here. At the same time she was doing that, she was prohibiting churches, religious people, from gathering socially distanced outside wearing masks. And the district court said, you can't do that. That's discrimination. You can't separate people out based on their ideological beliefs or their positions. You can't do that, right? Isn't that what the district court said?
The district court said that
Do you agree with it?
Could not survive strict scrutiny.
For those reasons, right? Why are you fighting me on this? I can't figure this out.
I am not fighting you, Senator.
So yes, you agree. That's what the district court said.
That was what the district court concluded.
Do you think they got it right? The district court get it right?
The district court, we did not appeal that decision. I think that district court decision is consistent with rulings that we got from the Supreme Court clarifying the application of the religious test to COVID-19 restrictions in Tandon and the Brooklyn.
My time's almost expired, and I know other senators want to ask questions, so let me just very quickly here. Do you think it's wrong to discriminate on the basis of religious faith?
Absolutely, Senator.
Why did you argue that religious services, religious people pose a greater risk of infection than people gathered to argue for defunding the police?
I was representing my client. The mayor and consulting epidemiologists had issued orders that she thought were going to protect public health. It was my role to defend those as.
Why did you make that argument? That seems like a strange argument to me, that religious people are somehow more infectious than folks who have other ideological positions. I don't get it.
My understanding was the nature of singing and other things epidemiologists thought could transmit COVID at a high rate.
You didn't put any scientific evidence on the record for it.
Senator, those were.
So this is very interesting. So I remember in 2020, there was here in France a case where a group of Christians, I believe, in the east of the country, I can't remember, it was up north. They went for a retreat, if I'm not mistaken, and there must have been about 400 people. And at the end, I think it was a few days, and at the end of the retreat, a group of them got the virus. They were infected, and sadly, some of them died. And I remember that everywhere, people were saying, "Oh, you see, this is the fault of Christians," basically. And so she was arguing that singing would have been a problem, and I think maybe there may be some scientific basis for that. But then again, the problem is that they knew that they were not applying the law equally. Right? They were not applying this ordinance or this decree in the city equally. And I think Senator Hawley has done a really, really good job to bring that up. And this is just to tell you that you're not safe, really, and that there is really this bias against conservative, against Christians. And yeah, so that is really disgusting.
Fast-moving cases, and they weren't going to full briefing and full summary judgment with a record.
Not what the district court said. The district court said that you engaged in, or your client engaged in, and you defended discrimination on the basis of religious belief, that you offered no scientific evidence for it, that you pressed these arguments over and over and over without any foundation. Frankly, I'm disappointed that you made those arguments. You can choose what arguments to make. I'm disappointed you made those arguments. I'm disappointed you persisted in defending them here today. For that reason, among others, I will not support your nomination. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Tillis?
So yeah, there you have it. And this is basically the problem that I have and that many people also have. because we know that the law is never applied equally, and that in 2023 you can basically insult a Christian, you can attack them. Just think of the pregnancy crisis centers in the US. How many of them were destroyed? And exactly zero uh, suspect have been apprehended, questioned, anything like that, right? But as you saw at the beginning, the clip that I was showing you, it's okay. If to go and arrest a father who defended his son from being attacked by a crazy person, right? That's okay. He's a pro-lifer. You can go after them. It's okay. But if the person happens to be Antifa and protesting the police, well, that's okay. They can do whatever it is they want. We're not going to stop them because we want absolutely to promote discrimination, even if we claim that we are all inclusive, all nice, all tolerant, and we're looking for all these intersectionality. In reality, those are empty words. So I hope that you will like and comment and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.